I am Steve Erickson from MidlifeSolopreneur.com.
And I'm Jake Erickson from flowcampaigns.com.
In this short form podcast, we'll give an update of what we've been working on for the day, and so you can follow along the progression of a midlife solopreneur journey.
Yeah.
We also share helpful tips and strategies along the way that you can implement in your own business. And today, what date is it today, and what number podcast are we?
So today is August 5th, and it is our 10th episode of the podcast. So I think there's a milestone there.
There's a milestone.
Yeah,
First one of many.
Yes, we'll take it.
So there's 365 of these we're going to do, and then we'll make a decision what we do after that. The whole year is the commitment. So today, what I've been working on, well, it's actually very much of a coincidence. One lady we are working with was looking at other people's lead magnets and opt-in forms, and she came across an opt-in form that was not working. It was basically not registering her as a lead and going nowhere, and this was an opt-in form that was available on the internet. And it so happens today I've been working with one of my major clients, and a lot of what I'm doing is just double checking that everything is working, everything is connected, and finding out any little nuance that could go wrong and will go wrong when people are using. Now, for what they're doing is just a small event. There's only 27 people who's going to be attending. But for those 27 people, they are high-end clients and they're expecting things to go right. So everything has to work exactly as designed. So my tip to you today is that even if you have things that have been working for a while, and especially when they're brand new, make sure you go and check. Make sure you opt in from time to time to your own things. Make sure you fill out your own forms. And make sure that they are working. Because if they're not working, you have a problem. You are losing money, you're losing leads that could be very, very valuable to you. Your forms will be found on the internet, maybe a long time after you thought they were going to stop working. So you should always make sure that these forms are working, that all of your pages are working, all of your resources are working. And one of the things I teach in my course is that when you are linking to anything, use links that you can redirect later. You know, Bitly is a great service. Some people don't like it. There are other services available. But when you're using a link like Bitly, you can easily go in and edit it and change it and put it there and direct it somewhere else later. In one instance, somebody who's quite well known within the internet marketing world sent out a PDF and still sending out the PDF right now that takes you to, or has a button on it, that takes you to a page that's supposed to be book in for a strategy session and purchase their product. And it only takes you back to the lead magnet in the first place, to the first opt-in page. So you end up in an endless loop. And they're sending that out actively right now. So, that's costing them a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that is, really important as you're really deep in the weeds, creating a new course, creating a new product, writing out an email campaign, sometimes you're too in there to take a step back and really just take another perspective and make sure everything's working. And that's why if you have someone else who's available to be able to go through your sequence, test things for you, and actually take a second pair of eyes to look at something, that can be really valuable.
Absolutely.
Just because when you're so focused on one area, you kind of get a tunnel vision.
Yeah. In fact, for this particular client, I've been managing projects for them for several years. And one of the things that I state categorically is that the people who are implementing it are not the people who are going to approve it and make sure that that it's ready for use. The person who gives you the project, the person who gives you the task to do, they're the ones responsible for making sure it works the way they're expecting it. You cannot rely on somebody else, an external person. You need to go and check yourself.
Absolutely.
That is one of the key issues.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what I've been working on today, so we mentioned in the podcast yesterday about the 104 email templates that you had downloaded. So today I actually worked through splitting those up into separate files so we could use them, and actually starting to look at how we can use some of the content there for the Nifty Networker, which Jenny is going to be starting up soon, in a couple of weeks now. So we're getting ready. We're getting some content ready and building really a backlog of good content, helpful tips and tricks, things to engage over a period of time. Because, as we get busy with the actual launch of the group, and things are going to be, a pretty hectic, I think, to start off with. You want to be able to build up a content library ahead of time when the time pressure is not on, that you can then slowly release over time.
And not having to worry about and trying to create when you're in the flow with other things. That's really, I'm feeling that right now. We're doing a summit, the Solopreneur Accelerator Summit, and we are creating things at the moment that I wish we had 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks ago.
Yep.
Because there's a lot to do.
There's just a lot to do, yeah. So that's my first tip is if you have a period of downtime, so either you're in between major clients, or if you have a product launch or a new service that you're launching coming up in a couple of weeks, really spend the time now to create some of that content, both in terms of the content for what you're delivering and then also your marketing content ahead of time. So you're not having to do everything at once, right at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not even about being last minute. It's actually that you're going to be overloaded with things to do and you won't have time to do things that you think you're going to have time to do.
For instance, like checking that all the links work.
Yes.
So yeah, full circle there. We made the point work, but creating everything ahead of time and adding in those areas and making sure really ahead of time that everything is working just saves you from when the actual event or the product or whatever is launched, having to urgently fix things and fight fires there.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, so that'd be my advice for today is find a time when you have a little bit of downtime, a little bit of breathing room, and actually see if you can get ahead on some of your content plans there, because the time saved when it's really busy and you really need that time will be really worth it.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I think that's enough for today.
Yeah, I think that's great for today.
That was a little soundbite of our day. So thank you for listening. Look forward to sharing more of our journey with us. So tune in tomorrow and have a nice day.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.